Hey guys, it's Mike here for your E3 conference presentation. So this is part 2 of day 2. Again, as I've stated with the Ubisoft one, it was done as part of day 0, but I decided to cover it as part of my day 2 vlogs, so that's what I'm doing. Let's go on to the show and try and make this brief. Okay, the show started with the Chief Operating Officer Peter Moore. He comes out and he's stating that they're concentrating only on Xbox One and PS4 titles. We knew from the get-go that they were just going to walk away from Nintendo. It's not a great idea. I can understand why, because they've got new tech, new game engines, new devices that they're looking at, and they're sort of looking at Nintendo as a bit like the past, the same as the 360 and the PS3. Now, the funny thing here is they've got a couple of Microsoft exclusive titles that are going to be catered both towards Xbox One and Xbox 360, so we'll go into that in a little bit. Okay, Frostbite 3, which is the game engine that's going to be used in a lot of their like Battlefield 3 and other and Titanfall and other games that they are development. So that any first-person shooter game, that is going to be the engine used for it. They announced Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. It looks like Call of Duty but with Plants vs Zombies. Very tongue-in-cheek, very fun to play. It looks like you have like loads of different plants that each has a different special skill when attacking these zombies. They all like fire certain things. You have like this great big cactus that you can use to shoot spikes from afar. That has a better range attack than you have this sort of flower that sort of has first close shots and stuff like that. It was done by PopCap Games. John Vershey, he comes out, he's the head of the studio and talks about exactly how far PopCap Games have gone from being a mobile developer to actually making a console-based game. So this is the first time they've done it, and it's a big coup on their part to sort of partner with EA on this. They're going to be doing Plants vs Zombies 2 on mobile devices as well, so they'll be getting a lot of iOS coverage. And it will also be coming to the Xbox One and Xbox 360, the Garden Warfare game. So it's an Xbox exclusive game. And again, it's actually quite funny how they're still making games for the 360 and not just concentrating on the Xbox One. So that's a good thing, especially if we're looking at games that are sort of they're more based on Microsoft's ideas. So basically, any games that are for the Xbox specifically may not just be for the Xbox One. You may be able to get it on your 360. So remember that, guys. Anybody that's considering about buying an Xbox One but doesn't want to put up with the constant connectivity, you can still get these games for Xbox 360. That's a good point. And as we keep going from this, Brian Lee and Justin Weave, they explain about the game. They have a 4-player co-op survival mode. They showed a bit about that. Each plant had its own unique weapons, as I've totally said. It was very silly. They also talked about Paggle 2, which is coming this year. Again, for those of you who like PopCap Games and love these little handheld mobile games, you'll probably like that. We had a look at Titanfall. Vince Pancella was talking about Titanfall on the PC. It's available on PC, Xbox One and Xbox 360. This is not an Xbox One exclusive game, so I'm looking, I might just stick with my 360 and get it for that and not have to worry about the Xbox One. If they continue doing this, this might actually play in my favour, or in favour of anybody who's trying to decide whether or not to take that jump. Respawn Entertainment came out, they did a promo for the game, and they talked about the single player world and how it differs from multiplayer, and it's a lot more compelling, relatable. You have tactical awareness, and you can get in and out of your Titan at any time, which is, I think, is kind of cool. You have a pilot versus Titan, Titan versus pilot, pilot versus pilot. You can have as many ranges as you want. The game changes depending on how you want to play it, so it sounds awesome. Frank Gibeau, president of EA Labels, comes out. He talks about EA Sports Ignite, which is their game engine for their sports franchises going from now on. Frostbite 3 are engines of EA that have been working on for over 2 years. where they're still trying to understand the capability of these things. They debuted a short trailer for the new Star Wars Battlefront, which I thought was awesome. Anybody who was weary about the new Star Wars license going over to EA, you get to look forward to that. I don't know if that's going to be an Xbox One exclusive. They haven't stated. Right, they talked about the new Need for Speed game, Need for Speed Rivals. Michael Nilsson, the executive producer, was on that. He said you can't play it offline. It's it's one of those games that has to have internet connectivity. This is the thing. I don't mind that. I don't mind the fact that you have to have internet connectivity for certain games. It's the fact that some console developers, like Microsoft for instance, are stating that they want internet connectivity, otherwise you can never play any of your games. That's the problem. Okay. It blurs the line between single and multiplayer and co-op. They also introduced the star of the Need for Speed movie, Aaron Paul. They've got a movie coming out. I never even knew this was happening. He, if you know him originally, he's from Breaking Bad. He's doing the movie of that. He was talking about the cars and everything like that. He talked about how the Need for Speed franchise is all about cars, yada yada yada. Again, it's sort of capitalising on that whole Fast and Furious money, so this is what these guys are doing. Talked about Dragon Age Inquisition from BioWare. It's coming out fall 2014. Had a nice little package for that. Andrew Wilson, head of EA Sports, came out and then talked about human emotion and instincts, and that this was like the kind of thing that was missing in terms of game AIs, and in terms of how the player acts and reacts in certain games, especially their sports titles. They talk about immersive sports environments. They talk about the Xbox One and PS4 exclusives. All EA Sports games now are Xbox One and PS4 exclusives. Keep that in mind, folks. You won't be able to get it for your old gen consoles. You'd have to go next gen in order to get those. So if you're a sports fan, sorry guys, either PS4 or Xbox One, but at least you have that choice. You know, I'm not a sports fan. The only sport I like is wrestling. I'm in love with pro wrestling. You know, saying that MMA is kind of my thing, but I wouldn't actually play an MMA game. Okay, they first talked about NBA Live 14, the sense reacting on the how the characters react on the fly. They had some guy came out and do some bit of rapping while they had the figure sitting there playing like ball. Drake came out talking seriously about soccer. Seriously. They had Drake. Now I can understand he's probably got a song on the album. That's probably on the game. That's probably why, or he's promoting something that's within the game. But he not even once said football, at all. He didn't even say soccer. He said nothing about it and just talked about how he loves FIFA. Good on you, Drake. FIFA 14 was shown. Bruce Buffer was on stage afterwards, and then he introduced Andrew Wilson with Dana White and Ben Henderson and John Jones, the UFC middleweight and light heavyweight champions. They talked about how the MMA system organically alters strikes and that are part of the fight. Dana also talked about how fighting was the first ever sport, and people used to watch guys on the street punch each other in the face. Fair enough. If I could openly punch someone in the face on the street, that's probably what I would do. Okay, Patrick Batch is on stage. He talks about Levolution and talks about Battlefield 4 and how you can play in land, air or sea, 6 to 4 players all around you. Commander mode, which is a new mode they were talking about, where you get the tablet and you can actually look at the layouts, organise tactical strikes, and also organise your unit. So that's a kind of a nifty thing. It's something that hasn't been done in regards to FPS shooters before, so it looks kind of neat. Carl Magnus Tresson then came on stage and talked about the new features and the means how to play on multiple devices. DICE has set up a new game engine, and they then gave us a sneak peek of the new Mirror's Edge game. They had a small little cutscene, go having a tattoo on her, and her kicking some ass. And then Peter Moore comes out and he closes the show, and that's pretty much it. That's all EA had for us. It's pretty good. They're focusing a lot on Xbox One and PS4, but again, if you're on an Xbox 360, you're still laughing because you can get most of these titles on the 360, including Titanfall, including Battlefield 4, and including Plants vs Warfare, Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare. So the majority of these titles you can actually get on the 360. But if you're looking for Need for Speed, that's not happening. If you're looking for the EA Sports collections, that's not happening either. So that's pretty much EA's presentation. Check out for my next video where I'll be talking about the Capcom presentation, which apparently is going to be happening on the 13th. So we'll look out for that, guys. And this has been Michael Burhan, and I'll see you tomorrow for another vlog. Bye.